What if I told you the perfect Knowles family, the one that gave us Beyoncé, Solange, and a whole empire, was actually built on secrets, betrayal, and a whole lot of silent suffering? Because while the world was busy clapping for Tina Knowles as the ultimate strong, unshakable matriarch, she was quietly drowning in a marriage full of lies, scandals, and public humiliation. And baby, the receipts are ugly. We're not talking about one cheating scandal. Oh no, we're talking about multiple mistresses, secret babies, financial collapse, and a woman who held it all together while her husband fumbled the bag publicly. For decades, Tina wore the mask of loyalty, believing it was her duty to hold the family together, even when the foundation was crumbling under her feet. But here's the real kicker. When the truth finally exploded, it didn't just shatter their marriage. It exposed an entire generation's toxic idea of what strength really looks like. Was Tina Knowles the fierce queen everyone thought she was? Or just another woman trapped by loyalty, legacy, and lies? Today, we're peeling back the glossy family photo. And trust me, once you see what was underneath, you can't unsee it. The stylish mastermind who kept Beyoncé and Solange polished, poised, and powerhouse ready. The ride-or-die wife who stood beside her husband while the whole world watched their family rise to the top. Tina played the role so well, people wanted to believe the fairy tale. Two talented daughters, a successful husband managing careers, a polished family image that looked unbreakable from the outside. They had the mansions, the awards, the red carpet smiles. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, Tina was dealing with betrayal after betrayal, wearing her best poker face while her world slowly cracked underneath her. And back then, let's be real, staying silent wasn't just encouraged, it was expected, especially for women who were told that holding down the family meant swallowing your pride and your pain. The myth was easy to sell because Tina made it look easy. But looks can lie, baby. And in Tina's case, the truth was way messier than the polished pictures ever showed. See, the public thought Matthew Knowles was just a husband who possibly, made a mistake somewhere along the way. You know, one little slip-up, a moment of weakness. Wrong. Tina finally admitted it. The cheating didn't just happen once. It wasn't a bad phase. Matthew was out here wild and practically from year one, like his wedding vows came with a permission slip to do whatever he wanted and get forgiven for it later. Tina stayed because, like a lot of women back then, she thought love meant patience. She thought if she just held it down, he would change. She thought building a family together meant enduring a little heartbreak behind closed doors. But baby, Matthew wasn't bringing just heartbreak to her doorstep. He was dragging in full-on chaos. It was a pattern. Cheat. Apologize. Cry. Promise it'll never happen again. Then, boom. Back at it like it was a sport. And the saddest part? Tina genuinely believed it was her responsibility to fix it, to protect the family image, to stay loyal even when loyalty was literally costing her her peace, her dignity, and her dreams. The hot take here is simple. Tina Knowles wasn't just betrayed by Matthew. She was trapped by a culture that taught her suffering in silence was strength. And Matthew, he knew it. And he took full advantage until the scandals got way too big to hide anymore. Now, if you thought Matthew's betrayals were just whispered rumors around town, think again. By 2009, it wasn't just Tina who knew what was up. The whole world knew. Blogs exploded. Headlines screamed. Matthew Knowles wasn't just cheating. He had gone and fathered a whole baby outside the marriage. And how did Tina find out? Did Matthew sit her down like a grown man? Nah. She found out through the press. Through everybody and their mama gossiping in the streets. Imagine building an empire with someone, raising legends, and finding out your loyalty got paid back with public humiliation. That's not just betrayal, that's disrespect on a national stage. And the tea kept getting hotter. At first, Matthew was paying $12,000 a month in child support to the baby's mother. But guess what happened? The second Beyoncé dropped him as her manager. That child support check shrunk to a sad little $2,485 a month. Saved by the pink slip indeed. Tina filed for divorce that same year. But even then, the drama wasn't done dragging its dirty shoes across her front porch. Because in 2014, just when you thought the credits had rolled, another woman popped up claiming Matthew was the father of her little girl too. And let's be real, the math was mathin'. The timelines were overlapping, and a DNA test sealed the deal. He was the poppy. Another baby. Another public embarrassment. Another confirmation that Tina had been surviving way more than she'd ever let on. This wasn't just about infidelity. It was about a man who built his whole world on the backs of the women who loved him and blew it all up, thinking loyalty was unconditional. But Tina, baby, she was finally done writing blank checks on her dignity. Now here's where the karma really started to boomerang, and it hit hard. Once Beyoncé handed Matthew that pink slip, it wasn't just his reputation that took a nosedive. His whole bank account collapsed right behind it. This man went from being the CEO of a global brand, managing Destiny's Child, cashing massive checks, to fighting paternity lawsuits and begging courts to lower his child support payments. Talk about a fall from grace. When the money dried up, the lifestyle Matthew had gotten real comfortable with, poof, gone. No more baller moves, no more VIP tables, just court dates, DNA tests, and a monthly child support bill that got slashed faster than a Black Friday sale. Meanwhile, guess who kept it pushing? Tina. Sis didn't fold, didn't whine, didn't go on some poor me press tour. Nope, she leveled up. She leaned into her businesses, her brand, her independence, and she proved that while Matthew had been losing everything, she had been quietly building her own freedom all along. Tina walked away with her dignity, her career, her family, and her sanity intact, while Matthew was out here fighting to keep the lights on. It's almost poetic, isn't it? The man who thought he couldn't lose lost it all. Now let's be real for a second. You don't live through all that chaos without it leaving a mark. Tina might have smiled for the cameras, but behind those family portraits, Beyoncé and Solange were watching everything. Kids are sponges. They don't just hear what you say, they feel what you live through. And growing up in a house where loyalty was confused with survival, baby, that plants seeds deep. They watched their mama suffer in silence, forgive in silence, and sacrifice herself for the sake of keeping the family image clean. They learned early that love sometimes came wrapped in betrayal, that loyalty sometimes came with a price tag, and that being a strong woman sometimes meant swallowing your own heartbreak for the greater good. And look, you can see the echoes of it everywhere. Beyoncé didn't just pull the inspiration for Lemonade out of thin air. Those songs, those themes of betrayal, forgiveness, rage, and reclaiming your power, that pain was inherited, baby. And Solange, listen, you don't swing on somebody in an elevator in a designer gown unless you've seen some real things go down behind closed doors. The Knowles sisters didn't just inherit talent. They inherited the blueprint for surviving chaos and eventually rewriting the rules for themselves. It's powerful, yes, but it's also heavy. Because the truth is, sometimes strength comes from pain you should have never had to endure in the first place. After the scandals, the court dates, and the endless public humiliation, Tina Knowles could have let it break her. But baby, she did the exact opposite. Instead of staying stuck in a cycle of betrayal and broken promises, Tina chose herself. Maybe for the first time in her entire adult life. In 2015, she found love again with actor Richard Lawson. It wasn't just about romance. It was about starting fresh on her own terms. New love, new chapter, new Tina. And for a while, it looked like the fairy tale she deserved. But even when that marriage quietly ended in 2023, Tina didn't spiral. She didn't hide. She didn't crumble. Because this time, she knew something most people never figure out. Walking away doesn't mean you failed. Sometimes it means you finally won. At 57 years old, Tina Knowles reminded the whole world, and especially a generation of women taught to stick it out no matter what, that it's never too late to reclaim your peace. She went from a woman trapped by loyalty to a woman fueled by self-worth, and she did it in front of the whole world. No apologies, no shame. That's not weakness, that's power, that's evolution, and honestly, that's a bigger flex than any red carpet moment. So where is Tina Knowles today after all that drama, heartbreak, and survival? Living, thriving, choosing peace over pretense. Even after 2 marriages, public scandals, and years of silent suffering, Tina Knowles still stands. And honestly, she's standing a little taller these days. She's now a respected entrepreneur, fashion icon, philanthropist, and low-key Hollywood power player. She's involved in tons of charity work, especially around young women's empowerment, housing initiatives, and arts education. And guess what? Despite all the storms she's weathered, financially, emotionally, publicly, Tina's net worth today is estimated to be around $20 million. $20 million. built not just on the Knowles family name, but on her own hustle, her own resilience, and her own refusal to stay stuck in anyone's shadow. She doesn't just live off Beyoncé's success, she carved her own lane, and she did it the hard way, on her own terms. Today, Tina is a reminder that even after decades of heartbreak, scandal, and survival, you can still rebuild, reinvent, and live your best damn life. No messy headlines, no chasing validation, just unbothered excellence. Because at the end of the day, Tina Knowles didn't just survive her story, she rewrote it. And baby, that's the real legacy. At the end of the day, Tina Knowles' story isn't just about scandal, betrayal, or even survival, it's about evolution. It's proof that you can love someone with your whole heart and still have to save yourself. It's proof that loyalty, when misplaced, can become your prison. And it's proof that it's never too late to walk away from the version of your life that no longer serves you. Tina Knowles didn't crumble under the weight of her heartbreak. She rebuilt herself, stronger, wiser, and more free than ever. She showed Beyoncé and Solange, and really all of us, that strength isn't just about what you endure. It's about what you refuse to tolerate anymore. And maybe that's the biggest lesson of all. You are allowed to outgrow the people who refuse to grow with you. You are allowed to choose yourself, even if it means burning the whole damn fairy tale to the ground. And when you do, when you finally choose yourself the way you've been choosing everybody else, that's when the real glow up begins, just like it did for Tina.